Hey, what's up, ladies and gentle-tubers? It's Tyler from the eveRide Chan, and today I'm going to be briefly answering a few really common questions about the KLR 650 while showing you some of the excellent footage we got during a skill builder meetup down here in southern Utah. So these questions really deserve their own videos, which I will be making soon. So the first question is, I'm a big guy and I want to ride off-road. Will a 650 be enough power for me? My answer is that 650 cc's is more than enough to get you around. In fact, even a 400 or a 450 will get just about anybody around. In many cases, much quicker than a KLR off-road. Displacement doesn't always equal power. However, putting a big 650 piston in a low compression engine makes for great reliability and still some pretty good torque. So the KLR is not particularly powerful for a 650, but what the KLR lacks in power, it makes up for in reliability. I'd say what's more important for off-road riding than displacement, especially for bigger guys, is suspension. Is the KLR 650 suspension good enough? Well, the KLR can very easily handle everything from fire roads to pretty gnarly rocky terrain, but if you want to be blasting through desert whoops or hitting any jumps, the suspension and the frame is just not suited for that. The second question I get asked a lot is how it performs on the road. Is the KLR a good commuter? Is it decent at highway speeds? If you're good with 60 to 70 miles per hour at reasonable revs, then it's great. If you want to get above, say, 80, then it's going to start whining at you. And while top speed varies by bike and gearing, it takes a lot of throttle to pass anything at higher speeds. So is it a great touring bike? Well, in the dual sport world, yeah, it's probably the best value for a motorcycle for going on and off-road, with a bias more towards on-road cruising and distance. Is it as good as, say, a tourer on-road or even an adventure tourer? Well, no, it's not, but for the price and the dirt capability, it is an awesome value. The next question I get about the KLR is, should I buy a KLR, a DR650, or a DRZ400? Well, that's a really hard question to answer. My personal favorite is the DRZ400, but if I lived in a different area, it might be the KLR. And if I lived somewhere else entirely, I might prefer the DR650. For longer rides, the KLR is the best one, in my opinion. It's got awesome range, built-in wind protection, a decent stock seat, and a good rack built in for luggage. But right now, I live just a mile or two from a huge array of desert terrain more suited for lighter dual sports and even dirt bikes. So the DRZ is really perfect here. However, I actually preferred my KLR more where I used to live, in an area where fire roads were a little more prevalent and I needed to travel a bit more to get to any kind of trails. Really, it's all about your location and your plans. Longer rides mean the KLR is just a better choice. Shorter, more dirt-oriented rides make the DRZ a better selection, but that's just my opinion. And the DR650 is just kind of somewhere in between and can be modded either way, just like all of these bikes. Now, for the final question in this video, is the KLR a good beginner motorcycle? Well, since it was my first dual sport and I cut my teeth off-road with it, I'd say it's a fantastic beginner bike. It doesn't have a load of power, so I've never felt like I was going to get into trouble, but it does have enough power to handle most any road situation just fine, and the torque makes learning off-road really quite easy because you don't have to feather the clutch as much as, say, a DRZ 400. The weight and the soft suspension of the KLR really makes you respect the bike off-road. The threat of bottoming out means you look ahead a little more, and the prospect of falling over and having to pick it up means you really want to find a better line through tough terrain. The price of the KLR also is a plus for beginners because when you drop it, and it's not if, it's when, it's not going to cost a ton to fix. It's a really rugged motorcycle. What's funny about the KLR 650 and beginning off-road is that when I got a smaller bike to ride, it felt so easy to ride off-road because I was used to the bigness of the KLR. I feel like it made me a better off-road rider. Besides, the KLR is a great bike to start on because it's cheap and you can mod it how you want, and you can find out if you want to go bigger for longer adventures or go smaller for more dirt, or just keep the KLR because you like being right in the middle of the dirt and road equation. And if you're only testing it, you can buy it cheap enough and then you can resell it easily because they're in demand after you've made your decision. Well, that's it for me. Make sure to subscribe for more in-depth videos about these questions and more videos about the KLR 650 and other dual sport motorcycles, mods, gear, and adventures. If you'd like to become a super subscriber and get upload notifications, click the bell below. And if you're in the mood for a couple of KLR 650 adventure videos, then you're going to love either one of the series to the right. Much love, ladies and gentle tubers. eveRide out.